Mental Training 101 on 105.5 The Roar. And now back to Get Warrior Tough with Andrew Wittman.
All right, welcome back to Get Warrior Tough. Hey, we were talking about depression before the break. I want to keep kind of hitting that a little bit. And I want, it really is a debilitating thing, and it's a very hard thing to come back from. And you have to surround yourself by people that love you, that will build your self-esteem. And, not many people know this about me, Lee, but I went through like a 6-month depression myself after I ran for Congress and I lost. So it was like rejection times a million.
I went through it too when I went through a divorce.
Right. So all of us have these times in life. So don't think that, well, that's Andrew. He looks like he's got it all. I went through it, okay? And I didn't want to talk to anybody. I sat on the couch. I gained 40 pounds. I was eating Oreos and peanut butter and frosty milk, chips and cottage cheese. That's all I want. I never wanted to look at anybody. But thank God for good people that bring you out, like my wife, said, no, I'm going to make you get out. I'm going to make, and start speaking good stuff to you. And she'll say, you want me to agree with that and change my self-talk? And that's what we have to do is change that feedback loop. We have to change the thoughts that we think. Because here's how it works, Lee. When you think a thought, let's just say you thought an average-minded thought or a depressed thought or a defeated thought. And that's really depressed people are defeated. That's that defeated mindset.
Right.
Okay, so you have a defeated thought. What happens with that thought? It turns into an imagination. It plays out in your head in a movie clip, and you see it in live, living color with 3D Dolby, surround sound.
And you focus on it.
Right. And then once you run that clip enough times, like you said, you focus on it. What happens? It creates self-talk or language. It's defeated language starts coming around. First you start saying it to yourself, and then it starts coming out of your mouth. Well, once those thoughts start coming out of your mouth, and that movie clip is played, and you start speaking like that, it turns into a belief. You actually start to believe it. There's a connection with your beliefs. And once you start saying it, you really believe stuff. Once you believe something, that creates actions, because we do what we believe. We don't do what we know. We do what we believe. I know I shouldn't be depressed. I know I shouldn't eat ice cream. I know I shouldn't have drive-through food, the fast food, but I still like it, so I'm going to go get it. So that thought turns into an imagination. That imagination turns into self-talk and language. That language turns into a belief, and our belief turns into an action, and our actions turn into habits real fast.
Absolutely.
Now, I think a habit creates after one time. People say it's 21 days. No, because I do trainings all the time, and if I do a 2-day training, everyone will sit in the exact same seat as they did on the first day, and they'll get mad if someone's sitting in their seat after one day. And now I have a habit, a defeated habit, that gives me defeated results. So if I want to change my results, I have to just back that down all the way down to got to think different thoughts. And this is what I do with thoughts. When they come into my head, I identify every thought. Is this a defeated thought? And then I'll handcuff it. If it is, I'll arrest that thought. I'll handcuff it. I will take it outside my house in front of my driveway. I will make it kneel down, and I will put 2 rounds in the back of that defeated thought's head. Toop, toop. And I will leave the body laying there. And I know it sounds graphic. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean where they're hanging pirates as a warning, and I will leave that defeated thought right in front of my house mentally as a warning. And every time another one comes, I'll do the same thing. Oh, you're a defeated thought? I'll handcuff it. I'll stack the bodies like it was on the 300 movie. It's just a wall of bodies out there until eventually that thought will stop coming. And I will actually visualize that whole thing that I just said. I visualize that every time a thought that's defeated or that is average-minded or survival or a tyrant thought, I handcuff it, identify it, handcuff it, go shoot it. If it's not an elite warrior thought, it's not setting up shop in my house. I cannot here's the deal. I can't keep birds from flying over my head, but I can keep them from making a nest in my hair. So when thoughts come, I can't keep thoughts from coming in my head, but I can keep them from setting up shop. It's like the old unwanted house guest on Saturday Night Live skit. No, whose thoughts are they? Whose mind is it?
It's yours.
Right, so I'm going to take complete control. I'm not going to run every one of those thoughts out. You will not set up shop in my house. So a defeated thought gets handcuffed, taken outside, shot in the head, and left there.
Now, for somebody that's depressed, now that's probably the most difficult thing for somebody to do is to get out of that negative thought process where they, first of all, they're not feeling good about themselves. They're not feeling good about their lives. They don't see anything positive in the future. And that is a negative. That is
That's
a
a track,
that
right?
is a depressed person's thought process.
That's right, and we got to get off that track from the 11 million bits to the 126.
Right.
This is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You need to get in touch with GetWarriorTough.com. And I'm seriously, you need to watch the YouTube videos over and over again. You need to listen to the podcast over and over. Look, that stuff's free. It won't cost you a dime to do that. It's up there. You need my help. You should do it. I mean, feed on that stuff, not what all the junk that's going on. And when you have that thought, say, I'm going to click Andrew on. I mean, go click the YouTube, watch me. I'm right here. I'll be looking at you in the face, and I'll be telling you, hey, I love you. You're awesome. You are a genius. And now you got to hear that enough times and create that imagination enough times. And if you feed on this, you will reprogram your thought process. You'll reprogram how you process all these thoughts. You'll reprogram your truth. And that's why a 2-hour coaching or just even a 6-hour coaching is not enough.
And the biggest thing I would assume is, you say, what would my life look like if I weren't depressed and the way I'm living my life?
Right.
The biggest thing that you have to understand is that is a reality. That life can be a reality if you get rid of all the negativity out of your mind,
Right.
and you
focus on that.
And you
See,
focus on that.
See, the mind can only focus on one thing at a time. People say I'm a multitasker. That's a lie. You can't multitask. You can't do anything more than one thing at a time well. You can only focus on one thing at a time. The eye can only focus on one thing at a time. You focus on good and how awesome your life is, and that's why we talk about writing a vision and writing the target. That's why Drew has that book filled of all these things. That's what he's focusing on. And when he looks at that, then he says, that's where my life's going. You don't have time to think about all the junk. You don't have time to be depressed when you're looking at how great great your life is and where you're going. And that's why it's so important to write the vision. And people that are, if you have a written vision, you cannot be depressed. If you tell me what you're see, and people laugh because I don't just have a 20-year plan. I have a 300-year plan. I have a 300-year plan written out. That's my vision. Is 300 years. It goes out for 300 years. People,
Wow.
yeah. People are like, that's nuts. Well, yeah, okay. You know who had a 300-year plan? This is why all the trust fund babies can, Paris Hilton and all them can run around doing nothing because their great-great-grandfathers all had 300-year plans.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, because the Vanderbilts had 3-year plans, 300-year plans. The Rockefellers, 300-year plans. They have bigger plans than just there's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. How could you be depressed when I'm talking about building something for my great-great-great-grandkids?
A legacy.
I can't be depressed. Instead of sitting, and again, external factors it doesn't matter. I control me. It's my plan. It's my fantasy. Yes, I know it's impossible, but if it were possible, how would I do it? And then I write the plan, and all my kids are on board with it. They love it. I'm kind of mad at my parents and grandparents for not coming up with a 300-year plan. That's why I'm still, schlepping it out, man, because they didn't have a 300-year plan. But that's not going to happen for my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids, my great-great-grandkids. That ain't going to happen on my watch. I've got a 300-year plan. And when you do that, don't you start feeling better right now? We're talking about 300-year plan.
Absolutely. Well,
like,
yeah.
Man, that feels pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, well, you got me thinking about different presidents and things that Abraham Lincoln and things that they didn't just think about themselves. They didn't think about the time that they were living. He thought about
the future.
The future.
Right.
And that's pretty amazing. I've never thought about things that way.
So when you do, you can't be depressed. It's real hard to be depressed while you're thinking that far out when you're seeing the target. And if you don't, when you get that 50,000 foot level, and I'm looking 300 years down in generational, suddenly the stuff that's going on right now, it's nothing. It's a minor inconvenience that I won't. It'll be a blip, blip, bloop. Like, oh, such a hard, stressful week. 300-year plan. You think you ever remember about this week?
No,
you're not. All it is a blip in my 300-year plan on my radar. I'm going out, and people they laugh about the 300. They'd be like, it's funny because every time I say it in an audience, though, there's always at least 25 to 30% of them be laughing.
Well, that's why you tend to remember your successes more than you do your failures.
Yeah, because when you do, and that's another thing is continue to remember your success. It's hard to be depressed when you say all your past victories.
And I'm telling you, and it's that's what I was talking about. The successes in life is the reward. The reward. It's a good feeling. It makes you feel good.
And that's exactly right. It makes us feel good, and then that produces more success, which gets you out of depression. So you start small. Just get whatever small victory it is. If it was just getting off the couch and going to the front door or meeting somebody or just going, that's a small success. Let's build on it.
That's like losing weight.
Same thing, man.
You can't lose 100 pounds till you lose one.
Right. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, man. I love it. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll finish up the show, man. This is good fun.
Do you want to be Warrior Tough? Do you want your employees to be Warrior Tough too? With abilities to handle difficult situations as a well-oiled machine? Andrew Wittman has been teaching leadership, discipline, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and mental toughness for 30 years. His seminars build strong working relationships, high-performance teams, effective communication in crisis, and conflict management skills. He'll change the way you look at yourself, your company, your job, your life. He is dynamic, engaging, and stimulating in his presentation, and he can help you build and develop the leadership skills and high-performance skills needed for your team. He'll give you the tools that will not only increase the positive product output in business, but in your personal life as well. To get complete information on how Andrew can help you, call 864-977-1772 or log on to GetWarriorTough.com.